It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Tuesday, the 19th of August. I'm Michael Groff. It's kind of that good news, bad news scenario that we talk about here. The bad news, temperatures are on the increase. Daytime highs going above 110 degrees and getting up into that extreme heat criteria for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Now the good news, monsoon moisture is coming back into the southwest. We'll see daily chances of showers and thunderstorms over the mountains, creeping into the lower deserts, especially later this week. And then things could get decidedly more interesting as we get later into the weekend and next week, which of course we'll get into. The usual questions abound: where, when, how much precipitation could there be, temperatures, how long will that heat stick around? And of course, we'll take a peek at the tropics as well. All of that and more in just a moment. Hey everyone, it's Michael Groff here to talk to you about your roof. With all the extreme weather we have in Arizona, you need a name you can trust, and that's why you should call Blackstone Roofing Group for all of your roofing needs. Call for your free inspection today. Big or small, they do it all. Tile, shingle, or flat roofing, they can help. Offering free inspections and more. Roofing made easy. Call 602-536-9363 or visit blackstoneroofing.com to schedule your free inspection today. And if you tell them Michael Groff sent you, they'll take $500 off the price of your roof replacement. Again, that's 602-536-9363 or blackstoneroofing.com. All right, let's get to that almanac from yesterday. 107 degrees was the afternoon high for your Monday. 85 was the morning low. 105 and 84 the averages for this time of year. Well shy of that record, though, fortunately, of 115 degrees back in 2020. As we take a look outside right now, just after 6 a.m., some high clouds out there moving in from the south. We're sitting at 90 degrees to start this day at Sky Harbor, and it's still fairly dry down here at the surface with a dew point at 48, relative humidity 24%. Wind from the north at 5 miles per hour, and the barometer is steady. Temperatures around the area, kind of a mixed bag, of course. The further away from that urban heat island you get, the more pleasant it is. 79 at Whitman. I see a 77, actually a 76 way up in North Scottsdale, 78 in Carefree, 79 in Apache Junction. But closer to the heart of the valley, you got 84 in Arcadia, 83 in Scottsdale, 81 in Tempe. And it's generally in the low to mid 80s in most spots, upper 80s to near 90, of course, right there downtown and close to the airport. All right, the satellite picture out here across the southwest, we put that in motion, and you can see that area of high pressure, our monsoon ridge, which had been nudged off to the east over the weekend, has been slowly drifting back to the west. It's now centered over northern New Mexico, and the flow aloft is very slowly beginning to switch back out of the southeast. You see that monsoon moisture, those big thunderstorms last night, of course, they've died off overnight, but we are left with those debris clouds sitting over northern Mexico, across Sonora, and into southern Arizona. That's those high clouds you see out there this morning. Those will be around through the morning hours, and then gradually those will dissipate as we go into the afternoon. The watch warning map, we still have heat advisories and extreme heat warnings from Texas and Oklahoma eastward into parts of the deep south, northward into portions of Missouri and Illinois. We also have some heat advisories over parts of North Dakota, some dense fog advisories up north as well. Out here in the southwest, we are under an extreme heat warning now. The National Weather Service has upgraded that watch to a warning yesterday afternoon. That goes into effect at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning through 8 p.m. Friday. That includes the valley and, of course, much of southern, southwest, and western Arizona included in that extreme heat warning, as well as portions of southern California up into southern Nevada, the Las Vegas Valley. Yeah, it's going to be hot for the rest of the week, above average heat, and you're going to want to slow down, limit your outdoor activities, especially if you are sensitive to that heat during the midday and afternoon hours, the peak of that heat. Elsewhere, we do have some coastal flood warnings, those beach hazards, and that includes some of the coastal Carolinas up into Virginia, and especially so around Nags Head, North Carolina, the Dare County area of North Carolina. They're under that mandatory evacuation, and that is due to Hurricane Aaron. No, Aaron is not going to make landfall there, but some of the wind generated by that system, and obviously the wave action that's being generated by what was at one point a Category 5 storm, now down to a Category 2, is still going to create some coastal flooding. That overwash And we could see even some of the far outer bands of that system maybe brushing far eastern North Carolina. But the major issue from this, it's not going to be a direct landfall. It's not going to be a storm surge in the classic sense, not from an eye wall coming on shore. This is just going to be a continued battering of those waves on those outer banks, and even for the coastal Carolinas and up into Virginia. And of course, the high surf will be present all across the east coast of the United States. So rip currents, that's going to be a big hazard from Miami all the way up to Long Island. So be aware of that. Convective outlook for today, we've got the marginal risk for severe storms, level 1 out of 5 up around Kalispell, Montana, as well as from Oklahoma and Kansas all the way up into the Ohio Valley. In Arizona, the southeastern portions of the state and east central Arizona in the green, thunderstorms are possible. They'll be widely scattered in nature. Not everybody will see them, but where you do get them, yes, some gusty winds, some lightning, maybe some rain with the stronger storms. All right, the tropics. Let's look at that in the Atlantic Basin. We've got 3 areas of concern here, a couple of tropical waves, and of course, Aaron. We'll start with that tropical wave in the central Atlantic. That has a low chance to develop now, but a 60% chance that develops over the next 7 days as it approaches the Leeward Islands, Puerto Rico, maybe brushing across Hispaniola, hopefully going north of there. Now, there's some upwelling behind Aaron. Those sea surface temperatures have dropped almost 10 degrees in some cases because of all that upwelling, all the incredible waves, the water displacement that has been created by Aaron. Nevertheless, this still has a decent chance to develop, and we'll have to keep a very close eye on that. Then this system that's coming off the African coast has a low chance to develop, about a 30% probability of developing over the next 7 days. We're not going to worry about that right now. Then let's get to Aaron. Here's the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center. Now, because of a lot of wind shear, this has been downgraded to a Category 2. Top winds 110 miles per hour, and it's making that turn more toward the northwest and north. And yes, this will not make direct landfall with the east coast of the United States, despite some reports to the contrary. But there is still obviously some large swells generated by this, as mentioned. So while we're being spared the brunt of this storm, still some concerns here. And of course, this will miss Bermuda as well, but that is a system too close to call. Now, yeah, it could re-intensify briefly to a Category 3 as it begins to accelerate northward. We'll see about that, but that is still a potential. Maybe some of that wind shear eases just a little bit. And the satellite presentation on Aaron here over the last day or so, you can see how this has been progressing. And yeah, on those later frames, you can clearly see the deeper convection is being eroded, and there is obvious wind shear on that west side, and it's encountering some more hostile environment for development, at least in the short term. We'll see if that continues. Modeling on Aaron, the tropical model set, very good clustering. Yeah, there's that one model that brings it up into the Carolinas. Again, we're not going to worry about that. That's a clear outlier. You look at the GFS ensemble, you look at the European ensemble, the mean keeps it all this well off the east coast of the U.S. We're not going to worry about this. This will accelerate rapidly into the North Atlantic. This will just be a mid-latitude cyclone, ultimately, that maybe affects Western Europe. All right, closer to home, the precipitation outlook. This is valid through Tuesday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, maybe a few hundredths, a tenth of an inch. Heavier totals up north and down to the south of us, too, along the international border. Obviously, the higher terrain will see more. Up toward the Las Vegas Valley could see some rain, maybe a tenth to a quarter of an inch over the next 7 days. Now, whenever we show you this graphic, yeah, your amount will vary because thunderstorms are weird like that. They don't just produce magically what's shown on this graphic. Some neighborhood might get an inch, another neighborhood gets nothing. This represents an average of what you'll see across the region. So with that in mind, let's see what the future may hold. What's going on with this wacky weather pattern? Here we go. The GFS, as we check out those models, it's the 06Z run. This is valid at 2 o'clock this afternoon. The upper look at 500 millibars, about 18,000 feet off the ground. And there's Aaron off the east coast of the U.S. Our ridge is drifting back toward the west, toward New Mexico. And we've got that weakening trough off of the west coast of Canada, or along the west coast of Canada. So what it means for us down at the surface for the rest of the day today, partly sunny this morning, some decrease in clouds this afternoon. It's going to be pretty toasty out there, highs 105 to 109. And yes, widely scattered afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms will pop up over the eastern mountains, the southeastern part of the state. They'll make their way toward the lower deserts, but they're going to fall apart before they get in here, unfortunately, as the subcloud layer is pretty dry here still in the south central deserts, and the lapse rates are not very steep. Thunderstorms, just not a good environment for storms here over the lower deserts today. And our ridge is going to continue to drift toward the west. That's the good news. Now for tonight, mostly clear to partly cloudy, overnight lows mainly in the 80s, of course near 90 for the urban core. And then tomorrow, our ridge slowly drifting west, getting toward the Four Corners. The flow aloft is more out of the southeast now, so monsoon moisture is gradually beginning to increase. We're seeing those widely scattered afternoon and evening showers and storms over the higher terrain. A stray storm could get to the lower deserts tomorrow, and that's why we'll put a slight chance of rain in our forecast. Let's see what the high-resolution models have to say about that. This is the HRRR, our simulated radar product, tomorrow at 7 p.m. And if this works out, sure, might be a couple of storms that try to get in here. They'll mainly produce gusty winds and blowing dust, but if we have some stronger outflow boundaries, maybe a couple of new storms pop up, maybe a spot or two sees some rain. Again, the chance of precipitation pretty small, but it certainly isn't zero for tomorrow, and that's why we'll put that chance of rain into the forecast. High temperatures tomorrow, 107 to 111, so it is heating up. All right, Thursday. The good news, again, good news, bad news. Good news is high pressure sits near the Four Corners. Southeasterly flow aloft, bringing in some monsoon moisture. Great. Chances of showers and thunderstorms over the higher terrain. Scattered showers and storms there, widely scattered storms in the lower deserts. Problem is, this ridge is pretty intense with upper heights about 597 decameters. So the thermal profile, we talk about this a lot, the temperatures through the atmospheric column above the valley and above the south central deserts. You want to see those steeper lapse rates. You want to see that cooler air aloft so that when the sun heats the ground heats the air. As that air cools, the faster it cools, the quicker it's going to form those clouds, the deeper that you'll get that convection. If the air is too warm, clouds don't form, or they're very shallow in nature. We just don't get those big thunderstorms to pop up here in the lower deserts. So that's still going to be a little bit of an issue, but stronger outflow boundaries, if we can get those, we get the better chances of storms. That's the case Thursday. That's the case Friday. We do think the ridge weakens just a shade on Friday. Upper heights come down a little bit, maybe to about 594, 595 decameters, so slightly cooler air aloft. So maybe a slightly better chance of showers and storms. We'll keep a low-grade monsoon forecast. Maybe we'll bump that rain chance up to about 30% on Friday. Then heading into the weekend, a low-grade monsoon stays in effect. This ridge is nearly stationary around the Four Corners, maybe meandering just a bit. So we'll continue with monsoon moisture. It'll be muggy. Chances of showers and storms. High temperatures on Thursday and Friday will be around 108 to 113, but lowering a bit as we go to Saturday, down a couple of degrees, maybe down a couple more degrees on Sunday. And again, widely scattered afternoon storms. Here's Monday. Monday could get kind of interesting. The ridge weakens further. Upper heights may drop to about 591 decameters, and the ridge shifts a little bit further to the east and southeast. And so the flow is south-southeasterly, and we'll get those storms directed more toward the lower deserts. I mean, kind of a better setup, and there could even be an upper-level disturbance that comes in here. And the GFS is certainly buying into scattered showers and thunderstorms, still mainly in the afternoon and evening hours. But of all days, right now, the models seem to indicate this is probably the best opportunity for precipitation in the next 6-7 days. And then things are still pretty interesting out to a week from today. This is Tuesday, the 26th. And again, the ridge is sitting somewhere over the Big Bend of Texas. We've got this upper low that's over the southwest, according to the GFS, this weak little low. Upper heights only about 588 decameters. So there's cooler air aloft. And so a better setup for scattered, maybe even numerous showers and thunderstorms. We'll see about that. This is Wednesday, the 27th, and the ridge continues to sit to the south and east of us. evidence that we're going to see a very substantial ridge that's setting up, this high latitude blocking pattern. Look at that big low that's out over the Northeast Pacific and this huge ridge that's nudging up into Western Canada across British Columbia and Alberta and all the way up into the Yukon and the Northwest Territories. I mean, this is a pretty prominent upper ridge. Underneath it, the GFS says some energy cuts underneath this ridge, and so we could see more of a westerly flow, kind of strangely enough, and this could actually dry us out. This is a clear departure from what we've seen on previous runs, but that is an interesting look. This is out at the end of the forecast period, Thursday the 28th, and that actually kind of looks dry for us with the ridge displaced all the way down to the Gulf. Now, the one interesting part about this is upper heights are down. The ridge is far away. We're not under any major big heat dome here, so afternoon highs would actually be below average and conditions would be somewhat drier. And that's a little bit unusual in late August to see a setup like this. So I don't completely buy into it, but that being said, let's take a look at it from another angle here. This is the European AI, and this is out again at next Tuesday, the 26th, a week from today. Now, it has a sharper trough coming into the southwest and interacting with what would be a pretty deep moisture pool, and that would set the stage for numerous showers and thunderstorms. We'd have kind of an active day. This is what would kind of simulate more of a transitional type event, the kind of event we see more in September when we get a trough that kind of sweeps in, those cooler mid-latitude cyclone type systems that sweep in and create chances of showers, storms, maybe even severe weather. Not saying that's going to happen, but the European AI sure wants to buy into that solution. So that's pretty interesting for next Tuesday. But then if that is indeed the case, you know, way out there toward the end of the period, again, out toward next Thursday, yeah, Euro AI has us dry. And again, pretty similar to the GFS, a huge ridge with positive height anomalies way up into Western Canada, Northwest Canada, up into the Yukon, and even into Alaska, and an elongated trough kind of underneath that. So we would be dry and kind of an unusual pattern and well, I don't know about well below average, but certainly below average temperatures. Highs would maybe be only right around 100 degrees. Very, very interesting. All right, looking at rainfall for Phoenix, this goes out through the 1st of September. Yeah, that's in range now. This is off the GFS ensemble. The mean is up at about 2/3 of an inch. You got a couple of individual members that are up there about 2 inches. European AI ensemble is actually higher than that. It's up at about 3/4, almost 8/10 of an inch. And again, you've got some individual members that are up over 2 inches of rain. So the prospects of better precipitation are certainly out there. Way out here, you know, especially as we get toward the end of the week, this weekend, early next week, and then way out at the very end of the month as well. And speaking of that, let's take a look at temperatures off the national blend of models. Okay, hot, yeah, and getting hotter tomorrow, especially Thursday, Friday. But then look what happens a week from today, out next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, highs barely above 100 degrees. And now the indication is that that may come with some initial push of unsettled weather, followed by drier and cooler temperatures. And I'm not entirely sure I buy into that just yet, but you know, that's certainly a recent trend in modeling. And obviously when you're talking a week and 10 days out, things can change. All right, let's look at the CPC outlook. This is for the 8 to 14 day period. This goes out to, from August 26th through the 1st of September. If this works out, temperatures below average, especially over California and up into Nevada, western Arizona, near average for us. Precipitation this time is skewed in favor of above average. So above average precipitation, near average, maybe even below average temperatures. How about that? Would love to see that, but these outlooks have not entirely worked out in our favor so far this monsoon season. But man, are indications pointing toward maybe, at the very least, a break or now this is fingers crossed. This is knocking on wood. This is hoping, but maybe even the end of our 110 degree days for the summer. Maybe, possibly, hopefully. I don't know, recent years would suggest no, but climatology would say, yeah, that's usually when we start to see the end of our triple digit, our 110 degrees days is out here at the end of August. The end of triple digits, yeah, usually not till the very end of September or early October. All right, that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell. Leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you're really enjoying these videos, and of course you are, then be sure to donate to us, right? I mean, that's what you want to do, I would assume. I mean, help us out. Click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube. Make that monetary contribution to us, or via PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. Our Venmo is linked up down below as well, and we appreciate that. But of course, if you can't do that, then just, watching, liking, subscribing, sharing these videos, telling people about them, that helps us out immensely as well. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Blogs, videos, everything Michelle related, possibly, likely, I would even say definitely Adriana related. It's all linked up down in the description. Our streaming station available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. We play a ton of music and have a lot of fun with that, so give that a look and a listen as well. And check out Dan over there at the Courtroom Files YouTube channel, The Courtroom Files on YouTube, or courtroomfiles.com for all your Courtroom Files merch. Lots of cool stuff there. I promote his channel because I love the guy. Great dude, great friend. But there's a tiny bit of self-serving in there too. Why? Because tonight, over on the Courtroom Files YouTube channel, you will get to see me. Not just me. I'm not even the star of the show. Actually, you'll get to see Dan. You'll get to see Bailey, Ashley, and myself. It's a show we call Sidebar. It's a panel of people. We get together. We talk about LawTube stuff, and it's great. It's fun, and I highly encourage you to check that out. Again, tonight, 8 East, 5 Pacific, 5 o'clock here in Arizona as well, over on the Courtroom Files YouTube channel. You can see me talking about something other than just weather and cursing our lack of a monsoon. All right, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support, so greatly appreciated. Please be safe, stay cool, stay hydrated out there, and have yourselves a delightful rest of your Tuesday.